How wait, no, we have to do it this way. Okay. Alright guys, so I'm dressed. I think it says we're live. It also says we have a bad connection. So bear with me, but I thought you might want to see this.
Let me know what it looks like maybe.
It does say the connection is weak. But this isn't going to take very long. I always say that. I know. I always say that. I know. That's because my idea of time is not normal. Okay. So we're gonna do three things. Okay. Here we go. So we're gonna do our white face paint, and feel free to talk about this stuff as we go. Our burnt cloves, and because it's 1770, our liquid rouge that exactly imitates nature, a recipe from 1770. Those are the three things I'm gonna work with. Okay. And so, because it is 1770, we're going to go with the darker rouge. As we get towards the late 18th century, you know, your cosmetics get lighter for the most part. So while you're in 1772, it's good to go darker. And that's why we're doing the rouge that exactly imitates nature versus like the bloom of roses, which wasn't quite invented yet at that time. So for those of you just joining us, white face paint, burnt cloves, and rouge that imitates nature. So, okay. So see how my white face paint is pretty creamy. If your white face to see what happens. Okay, we're trying guys. Okay. So I think we're just gonna do it here. I think this is a better connection. So hang on just one second. I'm gonna grab a mirror. And grab my stuffs. Alright, so let's try it this way. Okay, so white face paint, right, is pretty creamy. You're just gonna lightly touch it. You don't want a crazy white clown face, but you do want like a nice porcelain look. So I'm just gonna do half of my face so you guys can kind of see. Okay, so you can just see like what I'm going for. Okay, so you can kind of see here. Let me see if I can get better light for you. Okay. So can you see the difference here? I have color on this side of my face. This side is getting pretty white. We don't have cover up like you would think of, like cover up these days. But this would have been your cover up. You could put it on as thick as you want. Although they were, if you put it on too thick, you were being made fun of. You were called a pict, P-I-C-T. So you don't want to put it on thick unless you are, unless that goes with your persona. So, so I'm going to put my other side on here. And this is how I do it. I mean, sometimes I use a sponge. Sometimes when I'm in a big rush, I just use my fingers, okay? And, you know, don't forget things like your ears, your neck, and that's why I didn't put my cap on yet, and why I did not put on my apron yet, because I want to finish the cosmetics first. So again, this is really rushed, but I don't know, we're going to be opening pretty soon, so it is still raining, which really sucks. Come out anyway, though, because the tents are dry, and make sure you get your neck And any part that's showing, you guys, okay? So, any part that's showing, and it doesn't have to be like, look at my face, like you can see I have it on, but I'm not pasty. I'm just porcelain. I'm getting really red, but that'll go away. I'm just porcelain. So that's what you want. Ears. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Let's see if I can take you guys out of the tent so you get a better idea. So you can see that I am very even, I guess, which when you look at this morning versus now, white face paint does miracles. So a lot of people are putting it under their foundations for like a more even, smooth, flawless look to them. I like to use it just as a foundation myself. I do like to put it on my eyelids historically, so this is what we are going to do next, is putting a little bit on our eyelids here. And you have some options for the 1770s. You can either put white on your eyelids or a little bit of rouge. French like to do the whole rouge on the eyelids. So you can see like my dark under eye circles are still there, but they're not as bad as they were had I not put the white face paint on. So and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our eyebrows, because you have to have good eyebrows. Good eyebrows are very important. My eyebrows are actually kind of thin for the period, so in the 1770s you would have really nice, not quite Brooke Shields eyebrows, but like they would be very, very nice and arched and like nice fat eyebrows. So we're gonna work with our burnt cloves for this. Sorry, I'm walking around, guys. I'm trying to get the best light for you and the best signal. Not really sure why we are having signal problems. So again, we're using our burnt cloves, and I'm gonna do this outside so you guys can see. Your goal is an arch, right? So you can see there's quite a bit of difference. I can't reach over with my sleeve. Okay, let me try the other hand here. The trick is to get them even. Hey Tina, we are using the 1772 burnt clove, which is a historical recipe for coloring your eyebrows. Women have also said they've used it on their eyelashes for coloring their eyelashes. It works really well. We did a video on YouTube which oh look, which shows you how to color it dark or color it light depending on your hair color. Burnt cloves work with every hair color. So right now I have dark hair, so I push a little bit harder on mine to get that very dark color. But they work really well. You know, they have other options in the 1770s like burnt cork. Burnt cork is really stinky. Really, really stinky. And of course coal. Oops, look at that. I should probably try and stay in my eyebrow. So I think, you know, we've tried quite a few options here, and I like the burnt clove the best. If you have really nice thick eyebrows, which would be perfect for the period, remember women did pluck them, so they kept the very nice arch going. I'm going to just use the mirror here for just a second. So they kept the really nice arch going, and they were groomed. So a lot of people think, I am here. A lot of people think in the 18th century there was like a lack of grooming, and that's just not true. Yes, it lasts through the day. It lasts through rain. It's a lot of women even who like don't do historical stuff. They have been using them, and they won't go back to to the eyeliner to try and color in their eyebrows. So it works really well. Plus, the great thing about clove is that bugs don't like it. So it keeps like the gnats and the bugs and stuff away from your eyes as well. So fun little fact. When we're out with the shop like this, and it's incredibly buggy, the gentlemen will even come in and they will get burnt cloves for their eyebrows, and they will be using it, which is cool because gentlemen did that in the 18th century. So you know, today they're using it because it prevents against bugs, but I just think it's really cool that the guys are using it too. So I don't know if they're incredibly even today, but I think that's pretty good. So my eyebrows, I don't know, like everybody has areas where they wish they had like better eyebrows or whatever. That's me. I wish I had better eyebrows. Mine are kind of wonky. They're not really shaped the same, and I always have a hard time with them. So, so we've done 3 things so far for those of you just joining us. White face paint and burnt cloves for the eyebrows. You can put them on your eyelashes too. We've had women do that, and they say it works really, really well. Next, we're going to do rouge. So this is a 1772 rouge. We chose this rouge not only because it's 1772, but because in the early 18th century, you had darker colors. When you get towards the end of the 18th century, you have lighter colors. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind. And obviously, you can make this however dark or however light you like. But this is just a really great color for the 1770s and also for fall. So, okay, so when you're applying rouge, you want to work on the apples of your cheeks. Okay. And so this is a little bit darker than like when we were doing 1780s, 1800s last weekend. I used the Bloom of Roses because that's a bit lighter. But for the 1770s, this is excellent. I'm going to take you outside again. Sorry. So, you know, a lot of times with rouge, today you like to go up here, and you don't need to do that. You don't even need to go in here. So in the 18th century, it was just kind of in this area. Sherry says, I've used burnt cloves as eyeliner too. Works well. That's really awesome to hear. Thanks for saying that, Sherry. I have not. I've always wanted to, but it seems like when I'm doing historical makeup that I'm always rushed because we're always trying to open the shop, and so but it doesn't take that long to do your historical makeup. Okay, so you want to make sure it's even, and then okay, so here's a trick. Okay, 18th century nose. I gotta get some more. Okay, so on the 18th century, hey Daryl, you put on your nose, your chin, and just a little bit right there. And so now we have lips. Lips are the last thing to be done. And I love the liquid liners for my lips. Some people like them, some people don't. You just gotta try your preference on them. Also, you have to remember that I'm doing everyday makeup. I'm not doing like court makeup or ball makeup or... And you want that little like pout. Here we go.
It's a lovely podcast this morning.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Damn, we're trying to sleep.
I know. We're still live, so you can say hi.
Oh,
yeah, we're doing makeup. No,
Hi,
it's okay.
Sam.
It's okay. It's all good. We like visitors. So you're kind of a little icky. That'll all come off. You're like, I'll just talk to you later. That's okay. So this is my look for the 1770s. It's a little more drastic in the tent than the actual look is, so don't be scared by it, because see, when you go outside, it's actually quite pretty. Pearl earrings are from Fleur de Lis on Etsy, and let's see, is this something only the upper class, not the working class did? That's a really great question. The short answer to that is no. We have a lot of documentation that shows cosmetics were everywhere. Half pots of rouge on the corner of the street. It just depends. There's those that are for makeup in the 18th century, those that are against makeup. Some of the same shop owners have debts that were never paid from the like the wealthiest of women and the lowliest servant, who was the wife of a fishmonger type thing. So it's up to you. If you liked makeup, you could wear it. It was definitely, affordable. There was different ways of getting it. You could make it, you could purchase it, you could trade for it. Cosmetics were huge in the 18th century. So it gets confused a lot of times, I think, with Victorian cosmetics, but it is, it is raining, yeah, it is. It gets confused with Victorian cosmetics, but in the 18th century, definitely, the go-to thing, because that showed, cosmetics showed wealth. So if you could get cosmetics, you definitely would get cosmetics. Certain things are not so hard, like burn clothes for the eyebrows, and they did have recipes in some of the cookbooks and things like that. So it was definitely available to anyone who wanted to. Now, with that said, if you're just not into the whole cosmetics thing, that's okay. There were people in the 18th century who just weren't into it either. So it goes both ways, but definitely working class, if you were the poorest of the poor and you had to choose between makeup or eating, I would probably choose eating. But there are some crazy people out there who might choose makeup, and they could definitely get it at secondhand stores, corner shops, things like that. So the last thing we have to do is, the last thing we have to do is put my cap on. And my cap's not even here. I don't even know where my cap is. And I have my apron too. So it is raining. It is raining here. But
unfortunately, we're facing the direction people think we're closed.
oh, really? Okay, so here's my cap. It really needs to be ironed. So basically, my cap is going to look like this. I don't know if you guys can see it. I have to put it on and I have to pin it, but it's adjustable in the back. And then the last thing we have is the apron. Can you hold this
Yes,
for a second?
I can.
Just hold it just like that. Tilt it down a little bit. So, okay.
How's that?
Remember we talked about this. Tilt it down a little bit more. We talked about this, how like it happens and you cover it up. Well, this is like close to the late 1770s, 1780s gown. So I am just going to put my apron on today, my black apron, and that will cover me up. I have my hairstyle, that is the 1770s hairstyle, and my little apron, and then we should be good to go. So I'm just going to pin it on. And then a bow. I'll put a bow right here. I'm gonna have to make sure it's even. But can you tilt it down a little bit more? But yeah, so this will still need pins. But anyway, this is my outfit for today. And my cap and cosmetic. So like I said, it always looks more drastic in the tent. It's actually not as drastic as you guys are seeing it, but you know, depending on your tastes, depending on where you lived, this is nothing compared to what you would see in France yet in the 1770s. So white face paint, your 1772 Rouge, a little bit of white on your eyelids, darken eyebrows, and that would be about it. So thank you guys for joining us, and hopefully this sheds a little bit of light on stuff. We can always go over more. Let us know if you have questions and what else you want to see. So, okay, thanks.